So our topic for today is how to make good decisions, how to make right decisions. And the question is always, what is a right decision? What is a good decision? There's a beautiful quote, and it's from Kashi Tripani, and it's very simple. It says, a right decision can take your future in the right direction. A right decision can take your future in the right direction. Wow, that's a powerful thought. I have another quote, and it says this: you can't make right decisions all the time, but you can learn from wrong ones every time. Let me say that again. You can't make right decisions all the time, but you can learn from the wrong ones every time. So, with those two quotes, we're going to set up now to do our meditation and get ourselves in a proper frame of reference to complete the message for today. Let's just sit straight up in our seats, take a deep breath, hold it, let it out slowly. Take a deep breath, hold it, let it out slowly. All right, let's see, we have people now joining us. Great, thank you, thank you. Let me admit everybody. Okay, thank you so much for joining us. Yes, this was a very interesting day. I don't know why we had a little power surge and everything just for a moment went south, but we kept right on moving. This is, let me pin us here. Okay, good. This topic today, how to make right decisions, how to make good decisions, is a powerful topic, and it's a continuation. Last week we talked about the fact that your decisions are the blueprints for your reality, and that one of the keys to making decisions was to, number one, decide what you want. If you can't decide what you want, then there's nothing we can do. Number two, describe it in great detail. We say take that sensory description of it. How does it feel? How does it taste? How does it move? All the things that make it real. Number three, believe that you can do it. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So you have to believe that you have the capacity to do the things you want and to have the things you desire. And then finally, number four, trust the process. Don't ask how. Don't ask why. Just trust the process. We tell the story often of the fact of a young man asked a very, very wealthy, very, very successful man what was the key to success. And the gentleman told him the key to success is right decisions. And the young man said, well, how do you learn to make right decisions? And he says, by experience. And he said, well, how do you get experience? By wrong decisions. And so the idea here is that decisions literally take our lives where we want our lives to go. They may be positive decisions. We have what we call active decisions, where you choose a particular direction and you pursue it. And then you have passive decisions where you procrastinate and you choose not to choose, which is in itself a choice. So we live in the matrix where you have to do something. If you either the doe or the doer. There's nowhere to sit on the sidelines. You're either doing or it's being done to you. So when we look at this, let's look at the definition of decision. And then we're going to, before we move to the next level, we're going to do our meditation because this is important. that we get centered, because the information you're going to hear right now is information that can transform your life forever. So everybody, let's just set up a second in our seats, and let's close your outer eyes, open your inner eyes. Let's just take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. And in this state of peace, we affirm, I am at peace with myself. Let us say that together. I am at peace with myself. Let that peace sink in. Now let's whisper it. I am at peace. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. And in this state of peace and relaxation, we affirm, I am open, receptive, and ready to learn. Let us affirm that together. I am open, receptive, and ready to learn. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. All right. Ooh, I feel energized, motivated, stimulated. Man, I'm back in the world of the living, in the world of the motivating. Welcome. Let's see, Sandy, Liz, let's see, Kenya. Oh, everybody's with us today. Thank you so much for staying in there. Now, we talked about how to make good decisions. And whatever decision we make is on the platform of four things: our thoughts, our feelings, our habits, and our associations. And so from this vein, whatever decision we make is always going to be interpreted through these four venues, these four avenues. So we may have a thought of success. We may decide that we want to, like entrepreneurs, we make a decision to go into business for ourselves. We're going to buy a business, some business, a network marketing business, a car business, any kind of business, and we decide we're going to do it. Thought. We get into the business, and the first three people that tell us no, man, we're ready to quit. So we may have the emotion, the fear of rejection, or the fear of criticism that can undermine the thought of success. Even when we have our thoughts and our feelings together, we may have bad habits. We may have a habit of procrastination. So although we have all the things necessary to create the lives we desire, we procrastinate in doing it. We may be surrounded by the wrong people. So often we see athletes or people who have great success early in life, and they take along with them some of the people from a previous stage. You know, we've all gone through that, where everybody's not with you for the long haul. Every person comes into your life for a season and for a reason. So when we look at these four, you might say venues, four ways to create the lives that we desire, we now look at what are the 9 steps to help you make good decisions, to help you make right decisions. Now, a lot of this, of course, is taken from our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success. And I guarantee if you don't have one, I'm just going to flash it up. We usually do this at the beginning, but be sure to get your copy of The 12 Universal Laws of Success. It's available on Amazon or through our website, www.12uls. And this idea of decision making is a profound statement. What are the 9 steps to make good decisions? Step number 1 is write it down. You know, the success principles really all work together. When we think about the law of success, we think about the law of vision, the third law of success. And the third law of success says, write the vision, make it plain. And so when you have a confronted with a decision, write it down. The moment you write that decision that down, it takes on a new life. Example, I want to be a million selling author. That's a statement, that's a decision. I want to be, or I shall be, a successful businessman, a businesswoman, business person. I want to be a successful parent. Number one about writing it down is to write it down as though it already has taken place. And so instead of saying, I want to be a successful author, say, I am a successful author. Instead of saying, I want to be a successful business person, say, I am a successful business person. I am a great parent. I am a great partner. The moment you say I am in writing down that decision, you literally create the vibration to make it happen. You see the power of I am is the making force. So whatever you put after I am, you have created the vibration to manifest it in your life. So write it down. Number two, analyze your decision. You see, decision is really about choices. You know, that decision, that official definition of decision, it says this. It says it is the cognitive process resulting in the selection of a belief or course of action among several possible alternatives. And so when you make a decision, once you've written it down, now you analyze that decision. You look at it from every angle. You take the time to analyze it and look at it from every perspective. So, for example, I want to be a successful business person. That's my decision I'm going to do for it. Well, now that I made that decision, what does that mean? That means I need to have a venue, a vehicle to become a successful business person. That may mean I need some experience to become a successful business person. That may mean I need some relationships to become a successful business person. I may need some investments. So the idea of analyzing your decision, take the time to write down each and every aspect of what that decision means to you. Number three, list all positive, all possible solutions, all alternative solutions. Let me let Mary in. Okay, great. When we list all alternative solutions, it gives us a picture of where we can be if this decision is realized, each and every aspect of it. When we analyze the alternative solutions, pay particular attention to those solutions that are based on your feelings. When we look at all of the alternative solutions, there are some solutions that are short-sighted because we desire immediate gratification. Many times when people talk about financial literacy, one of the key points of financial literacy and accumulating wealth is to do it in a systematic fashion. And so when the decision is confronting you as to whether to set aside the money because your business may need it in the future, or to buy a new car so that you can enjoy it in the present, those are the kind of things you need to analyze. And so pay careful attention to the feeling nature, because our feeling is one of the most powerful aspects of our ability to manifest. Our ability to manifest comes through our power, our force, our power of attraction. And our attraction is based on our vibration, and our emotions create the source of our vibration. When we lay out all of the possible alternatives, we can now go to step 4, which is to evaluate all possible outcomes. When you evaluate all possible outcomes, take the time to do it. If there's one thing I'd say about decision making is that if you evaluate all of the possible outcomes, take the time to do it. It's like I think Ben Franklin said, we spend 90% of the time sharpening the axe and 10% cutting the tree down. So when you start to evaluate all the possible outcomes, you can now make a better judgment as to the next step in your progress. Even little things. Years ago, when we were a young publishing company, we had a line of credit, and you see it often in business, like 30-day net, 30-day net. And I didn't really pay attention to it. My feeling was I pay them, before the next bill comes. And so I generally pay the bill in 35, 40 days, maybe 45. And one day I waited, I paid it maybe, if it was due on the 30th, I paid it maybe on the 18th. And they advised me that they they reduced my credit line tremendously. I was shocked. And so one of the things we learned there is when you begin to look at all the possible outcomes, to really rely on your experience, to learn a little bit more before you make that certain decision, because it may be based on lack of knowledge. So I did not know. My understanding of the business game was that 30-day net was an approximation, that they really just wanted to get paid, but that's not really how it works. 30-day net means 30-day net. And that's why businesses are often given a greater credit flexibility than individuals, because they understand that. It's a show that your company is financially secure. That was a hard lesson, but it was a necessary lesson. So after you evaluate all of your possible outcomes, you want to look at step 5, which is determine if the outcome you are seeking is a selfish one. Now that's a tricky one. We are always, when we look at our goals, the first instance, we think of how it's going to manifest to us. We think about how it's going to feel to us. We're always thinking in the first person. But we have to remember that we live in a harmonic universe, that everything we do impacts someone else, impacts your family, impacts your coworkers, impacts your neighbors. I dislike gated communities because they try to tell you what you can do in your yard. You can't have barbecues. You can't put sheds outside. And so when you make a decision, a friend of mine decided, he moved into a beautiful gated community, and it was really beautiful. And he wanted to, he wanted to just have a shed out back to put his tools. They sent him a notice, no, you can't do that. And so when you look at the outcomes, is it a selfish one? Then his outcome, that it was not necessarily selfish, but it impacted him, something he wanted to do. When we recognize it's a harmonic universe, everything is interactive. One of the things that sometimes happens, I know in network marketing, many times you'll have conflicts about a person. I introduced the person to the business, and then when they came to the meeting, lo and behold, they were friends with somebody else over here they've known for 20 years, and now they want to decide who they're going to sponsor under. And that's almost a no-win situation. One person saying, well, I brought you to the meeting, I want you to work with me. He's being selfish. The other person saying, I've known you for 20 years, I want you to work with me. They're being selfish. And no matter what happens, that's generally not going to have a positive outcome unless somebody can say, hey, you did the work. I've known the person for 20 years, but you spoke to him and you brought him here. Good luck to you. Hallelujah. If your decision hurts somebody else, that's a sign, don't do it. So make sure that the outcome is not selfish, that it just impacts you, because that's a flaw. Make sure that your decision doesn't hurt somebody else. because that's a real challenge. So now once you've decided that the outcome is not a selfish one, the next key is to, step 6, is to picture the consequences. This is the big one, folks. Because when you picture the consequences, you can get a sense of what the end game will be for that particular decision. One of my good friends, Johnny Rogers, Johnny was a football player. I think he won the Heisman Trophy in 1972. And he wrote a book called 10 Minutes to Madness. And what he's saying is about how, as a young man, he was a budding football star. And for some reason, he and I guess some associates decided to rob a gas station because they needed some money right then. And that one act transformed his life. Thank goodness his talent was big. People cared about it and they saw it as like an aberration from who he really was. But that's a critical point. If you take the time and picture the consequences of each one of your decisions, that can change the decision completely. So in that situation, if he'd really stopped for a moment and said, man, if I rob this gas station, number one, all kinds of crazy things could happen. Someone could get killed, someone could get hurt. And although I didn't intend it, this can be the result. When you have this decision-making process, whenever you're confronted with decisions, with choices, when you picture the consequences, that is a key act to help you make right decisions. Because, we operate by law and order. So when you visualize a particular outcome, you can now say, okay, maybe I can't predict it with absolute certainty, but I can see sometimes an outcome may demonstrate such uncertainty that you don't do it. In other words, we proceed on a certain amount of assumption, faith, and certainty. And so there's some decision when you look and you say, if I make this decision, I have no control. It's like a relationship. A person can be in a bad relationship and they decide they should leave. And something happens really terrible and it's like, you need to leave, run. The only advice I can give you is run. And then they make a decision to stay. If they picture the consequences and they say, whatever happened to cause me to need to run, it'll happen again. If I picture those consequences, that whatever the situation, it was an abusive situation, it may be worse next time. That whatever it is, I don't have control over it. I need to run. So when you picture the consequences, it really gives you profound information about making a particular decision. Step 7, get advice. One of my good friends, Dr. Ruby Bray, is a great coach. And, even the great ones, Michael Jordan had a coach. Get advice from someone who knows. Don't get advice from someone who doesn't know. Get advice from someone who's flown before. If you want to be a pilot and you're having some, get advice from somebody who's flown and crashed and burned and flown again. Get advice from somebody who's walked a mile in those moccasins. Get advice from somebody you admire. One of my great guidelines for advice sometimes is to get advice from somebody you change places with. Those of us who are in network marketing, we always think about the time that somebody comes out and they see a great opportunity. They say, oh man, this thing can change my life. And they go home and they tell their brother-in-law and they say, oh man, I just joined this company and all these good things are going to happen. And the brother-in-law says, hey man, they got you too. It's a ripoff. It's a fraud. It's a scam. And it goes into all this stuff. And you have to look and say, well, wait a minute, hold on. My brother-in-law, is he making any money? Nope, he's broke, unemployed. Does he have a home or would I like to change places with him? Nope, he's living in my basement. So why would I take investment advice from him? So this idea of getting advice is critical. It requires two things: to set aside your ego. One of the most challenging things is decide and understand that you just don't know. Most of us don't like to fess up to the fact that we don't know what we're doing, that we don't have a clue of what to do next. So set aside your ego and get advice from someone who's been there, someone who knows, someone who walked a mile in those moccasins. Number 8, stick to your decision. In other words, believe in the process. The farmer plants corn and waits for the corn to grow because the farmer believes in the process. In our lives, when we make decisions to do a particular thing, we must be like the farmer and believe in the process. Some people, the first time they have a bump in the road, the first time they hit a detour, the first time they hit a challenge, they're ready to throw in the towel. To make good decisions, you have to, once you've made that decision, be committed to follow it through, to do whatever it takes, for as long as it takes to manifest the results that you're seeking. Many times when we experience obstacles, the obstacles are like wrong decisions. The obstacles are for a purpose, to teach us, to make us stronger, to give us more power. You see, the bigger your dreams, the bigger the obstacle. And so if you're trying to do big things, expect big obstacles, but that's okay. Also expect the end result that you're seeking. You see, as long as you can see the promised land, you can get there. When we have challenges and obstacles that make us want to give up on our decision, it's when we take our eyes off the promised land. You know that statement, his eyes on the prize. So whatever your goal, whatever your desire, keep your eye on that outcome. It will manifest. And then finally, number 9. This is the big one, folks. Number 9 says, whatever decisions you make, put it into action immediately. Whatever decision you make, whatever choice you make, there's always something you can do right now in furtherance of that decision. And this is critical because the moment you make a decision, if you hesitate, if you procrastinate, if you don't take action now, it literally it's like a farmer, it's like a gardener who does not pull up the weeds. That the moment you hesitate, weeds begin to grow. You don't have to plant weeds. Weeds are doubt, the weeds of doubt. And so you make a decision and you don't act on it right away. In real estate, they have what they call the 3-day right of rescission, that people make a decision to buy something, a house or a car, and the law says you have 3 days to change your mind. Why is that? Because many times people will make a decision emotionally, and that 3 days gives them time to cool off and rectify it. So when you make a right decision and when you put it into action immediately, you literally plant the seed and you start cultivating it, and it will grow in like fashion. Whew. So today we've had a challenging and interesting day, an exciting day. That's all I can say. It was exciting. Okay. It's amazing. We're so dependent on electricity. So one little blip and all of our stuff goes haywire. But we made a decision to hang in there and it comes together. So the worst that can happen is we are a few minutes late. We didn't like it, but we said, hey, we're going to be here. We're going to deliver this message. So let's go over it. Let's summarize and let's go forth and take action. Let's get it done. Number 1, the key to making good decisions, write it down. and write it in the affirmative. I am that which I desire. I am the goals that I want to accomplish. Number two, analyze your decision. Look at every possible outcome. Take the time to do it. Number three, list all alternative solutions. List all alternative outcomes. Number four, evaluate all possible outcomes. This is the golden nugget, folks. Evaluate those outcomes because your mind will show you what your feelings may deceive you. When you evaluate all possible outcomes, you set yourself up in a good place to make a good decision. Number five, determine if the outcomes you're seeking are selfish or if they will hurt somebody else. If it only helps you, if it hurts somebody else, don't do it. The universe will pay you back. Whatever you plant, be it flowers or weeds, it will grow. Number six, picture the consequences. When you picture the consequences of each decision, now you can make a rational and intelligent choice of which decision to take and make. Number seven, get advice. To realize that you don't know everything. To realize that there are other people who you can have a harmonic relationship with who can help you and who can guide you. Number eight, stick to your decision. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. When the obstacles are bigger, then the efforts are bigger. That your goals, your desires are bigger than your obstacles. And then finally, number nine, take action now. Operative word is now. That every moment of every day you say, what is the best use of my time right now to confirm and further this decision to change my life, this decision to do whatever it is you desire to do, this decision to be what you want to be, this decision to do whatever you want to do, this decision to have whatever you want to have, always knowing that the best is yet to come. And so it is. Wow, those of you who are with us on Instagram and on Facebook, thank you so much for being here this Saturday. We'd love to have you as a part of our membership, the Success Mentorship Network, where you can get all of our recordings and all of our daily readings in one place. Be sure to check out www.patreon.com/Success Mentorship Network, or click on the link associated with this video. Once again, this is Herbert Harris saying, hey, you can be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have whatever you want to have, always knowing that the best is yet to come. Those who are with us on Zoom, hang in there and we'll have our after discussion.